We've got an icy system moving through portions of the northeast with the southern end of that front bringing some rainfall, but high pressure is going to build behind it with ridging coming over pretty much the entire country by mid-November. Also, banking up against that, we're going to have a huge storm striking California. I've got everything you need to know right here.
One Nation Weather.
Alright, thank you so much for being with me. Let's talk about the near-term ice risk for us here in the Northeast. We've got a system actually bringing a few quick thunderstorms as well over portions of the Midwest there, the Chicagoland area, into northern Indiana as well as southern Michigan. Overall, the system has brought some rainfall to Michigan, but it started out as a little bit of some icy precip this morning. As we make our way in towards our Wednesday evening, as I'm talking to you basically right now, we've got some ice trying to get going for us here into portions of New York, but it's really going to be into the middle of the night, into the overnight hours, when the northern parts of New York, the Adirondacks, these areas, we begin to really see some of this set on up. We get some of the heavier sleet, some of the heavier snow. Some of these whiter colors you're seeing in the mix in the snow, that's where you're talking about snowfall rates. You're talking maybe even an inch plus per hour, coming down at very heavy clips for us. Might even briefly see this start off as some sleet or freezing rain in the Boston metro area for your Thursday morning. Overall, though, this warmer air in just all layers of the atmosphere is going to be pushing northeastward. So basically, everyone who starts off with the snowy or icy precipitation will eventually change over, with the exception of some of these areas in Maine. As we head in towards your afternoon and your Thursday, this entire area looking to mainly be snow with some sleet towards the end. But you should get at least a few inches of maybe some quick snowfall accumulation before you actually see some of the ice sitting on top of that. But, some slippery problems through some of these areas. The ice accretion in most areas from New York on up towards portions of Vermont, New Hampshire, as well as Maine is going to be about 1/10 of an inch at the most. I talked about that in a recent live stream that I did. But anyway, in portions of Texas for us here, we're going to see a system really begin to develop. And this is basically its own entity, even though it's the southern end of this front, because it's really going to get its act together. Some of these yellows indicating some moderate, maybe even towards the heavier side of some of this rain as we go towards your Thursday afternoon. So again, if you're watching this after, don't leave me here. You can still catch some of the other details towards the end of the video, but this is just short-term playthrough for now. You can see some rainfall moving into portions of the mid-south and then eventually heading eastward, while it weakens as it heads towards the mid-Atlantic and the southeast, but at least some, much-needed rainfall for some of these areas, even though it might not be much. Maybe a little bit of a secondary system trying to spin up on that into portions of Georgia and the Carolinas as we head towards the weekend time frame, particularly Sunday as well. Now, your best chance for 2 inches of rain is going to be in these circled areas around Atlanta, Georgia, on over in the Arklatex, and then in far southern Texas, where especially prominent heavy rainfall will be possible. But in any of these areas, you especially see the green. That's where I would expect around 1/2 inch to an inch of rain, which is some pretty solid totals. The lighter greens, those bluish tints, that's where you're talking about less than 1/2 of an inch. Like and subscribe for more weather videos. By the way, I cover all things from short range to long range and the tropics, which I will be talking about the tropics at the end, by the way. Now, in terms of your West Coast storm that we're talking about for next week, I hinted at it in the intro. First of all, let's just start off with the overall patterning that's building in behind this. High pressure is going to be the story. We're going to see warmer ridging actually building up by the time we head towards the middle part of next week. That's what's really going on. You can see that H developing in the Mountain West. That's going to bring up a southerly flow in the plains, or the southerly flow will be kind of swirling up in the plains. And that's going to really help to bring up warmer air. You can also see some systems banking up against that and moving into portions of the west, bringing in some pretty hefty snow. Also notice a little disturbance there off Florida. We'll talk about the tropics in a minute. But we've got that snowfall hitting portions of Sierra Nevada range, some heavy rainfall into portions of pretty much the entirety of California. So this could be a pretty big storm and really an El Nino preview for California as a whole. But what really happens when you get systems to hit California, they can move eastward and the troughs can form surface lows over the plains. And look at how the GFS model in the Euros has hinted at this as well. This isn't just completely out of the woods. Around about 10 to 14 days out, I would be watching for some sort of surface low development of a system there over portions of the plains. Now, in terms of what we've got going on, we've got cooler air sinking on down towards the southeast over the course of the next few days behind that weak little front. They're bringing the rainfall and, of course, the icy precip. But behind it, temperatures are going to be on the warming trend. In fact, the warmth is going to escalate as we head towards the middle part of next week, as we really get a southerly flow to move around the high pressure there. We're going to get new ridging. Basically, the entire country is going to be warm, and you'll see how intense that gets here. Look at this. As we start your work week, so we're talking about Monday afternoon, this is November 13th, pretty much the entirety of the northern half of the country, about 10 degrees above average, excluding the northeast. And then as we continue playing that out, by the time we make our way towards our Wednesday, November 15th, that begins, turning, you can see some of the yellows mixing in, maybe 20 to 25 degrees above average for some brief periods of time. But you can get the picture for us here Thursday night going into our Friday next week. The entire country 10 to 15 degrees above average, and that's not even an exaggeration. Eventually, though, again, those surface lows that we get could begin to cool things down, but again, that's further out, and remember, you're talking 10 to 20, or 10 to 15, maybe even 20 days out for something like that to really get going. But I would watch as we head towards, say, the November 20th time frame for us to maybe even get some sort of severe weather set up over that part of the country. But for now, let's talk about something a little bit closer that I can hopefully pinpoint in the best of my ability for you here. And that's what I've done. This is your November 16th temperature compared to average map that I've made for you. Red is above average. We're talking, a little bit above average, maybe up to 10 degrees. But really in those deeper reds, that's where you're going to see some persistent above average conditions getting going by the time we're talking about your November 16th. Over the north central United States, that's where this is going to be most prominent. And that's something that we typically see with El Nino, with the north central being well above average. And the precip compared to average, we're going to be pretty close to average in the southeast, I think, a little bit below in the northeast, but look at how far above average we're going to be with the storminess hitting the southwestern coast of the United States. Into portions of California, I would certainly be watching out for some flooding as an atmospheric river sets up, and maybe some mountain, landslides, mudslides, all those problems that we get there. With snow, and then eventually the snow melt after, if that were to occur. Now, the GFS still going very big on the tropics. We've got the, a little bit of a tropical disturbance. We've really just got the tail end of cold fronts sitting around and bringing in some overall low to mid-level wind energy here into the Caribbean Sea. This is kind of lingering between the Caribbean islands, between portions of, Central America, as well as north of South America. So really just sitting over the open waters, but bringing some rainfall to portions of these islands. Notice by the time we make our way towards, say, our November 15th, November 16th, so this is about a week out from when I'm filming this, we begin to see these colors start to wrap around both sides of a system that begins to develop about equally as far away from Jamaica as it is from, say, Honduras. But overall, what I'm trying to show you here is that the GFS model has been talking about this for a while, so maybe this isn't just the GFS and its folklore. Maybe this is a little bit more than that, and it's something that we need to keep an eye on. But you can see how an attached front could kind of combine with it, bring some lower level wind energy to portions of Florida. Overall, I would not expect any sort of impacts to head towards Florida at this point, with all those stalled boundaries sitting over it to protect Florida. But nonetheless, for portions of Cuba, for portions of Hispaniola, the Bahamas, all these islands in here, I would worry about that as it moves on off towards the northeast. It looks like most threats would be gone, even with the GFS model, and these would turn into some sort of, mega storms over portions of the northern Atlantic by, say, we're talking maybe November 20th. Another thing I wanted to briefly show you here, and this isn't really tropical, but this is a cyclone. This is that storm moving onto the west coast with wind energy. Look at that big swirl. Pretty cool to look at there. A graphic about a week out from now. By the way, I have a secondary channel. It's a radar watch. I've got high quality radar replays and satellite imagery for you there. If you want to go ahead and subscribe, I'll put a link in the description so you can go ahead and head on over there. And of course, subscribe to this channel first if you haven't already. Like, subscribe, leave any comments and questions you have down below, and here are the credits, everyone, all the sites I use, and all the specs. Have a good day.